At the top of the Timescape screen is where you can enter a status message. This is the default standard Sony Ericsson keyboard. This is a test. No auto period, full stop when you hit the space twice. No capitalization here, just lots of word prediction. Word prediction that it doesn't even make proper use of. Let me type test message. Again, I'll misspell message, M-E-S-S-A-F-E. And it's going to accept that as the default, even though there's a message right here. I could press on it. I could fix it by tapping on that, but there's no way to just type and have things auto-corrected, at least not inside of Timescape. Once you have your message here, you can hit continue. You can choose to have it sent to Facebook and or Twitter and then send it off, but there's no way to add a picture for TwitPic or anything like that. So really poor system in my estimation. You'll see that the text input definitely works better in other applications. This is still the same standard Sony Ericsson keyboard, but it works infinitely better here. Notice it started with auto capitalization. But right now I mistyped test and I'm going to hit space and it's still going to leave the incorrect word there. Luckily, you can switch to the Android keyboard, which works much better. Notice I typed TRST again, and this time it's going to put test in. Double space gets you the period. The standard Android keyboard is not nearly as good as, say, HTC's or whatever, but it's worlds better than Sony Ericsson's effort here. It's also worth noting that there's no landscape input method with the Sony Ericsson keyboard or this Android keyboard for a lot of applications. I'm assuming we can use it inside the browser, which we can bring up here. Hit go and see if we get it here. Yeah, now we can get the landscape keyboard, but in the vast majority of the applications it just doesn't seem to work. So let's go to mobileburn.com here. See how slow it is catching up. It's really, I mean, this is a 1 gigahertz Snapdragon processor and it's awful. Let's pop into the Mediascape application. You can see it shows recently viewed, taken, favorites. It's supposed to show photos from web albums as well. It's been having consistent network problems. Obviously, we just used the browser, so the network connection is working, so it's has some sort of application error. Sony Ericsson informed us after the fact that this is pre-production firmware, so kind of makes this review not all that useful since we don't really know what's going to work and what's not going to work. Some random pictures here. See what the infinity button does. Looks like it gets all the photos from the same date. Go back to home. Therefore, if I pick this photo here and hit the infinity button, it should show a different set of photos that I took when I first got the phone, which is exactly what it does, which is kind of cool. One thing that surprises me is there's no nice animations when you're swiping from one picture to the next. And zooming requires these on-screen controls. There's no multi-touch, but you can see that the quality of the images coming out of the camera is quite good. A lot of detail here. Very sharp considering this is a macro image. This is the music tab of Mediascape. Shows recently added, played, and favorites. Now you can tap on the More button here to get to a full list of all your music, sorted any way you want. Let's play this one. You have some options across the bottom, marking things as a favorite or not. Hit the infinity button. You can do a web search. You can also do a YouTube search. Doesn't seem to be too accurate in the results, but this will give us a chance to see what YouTube looks like on the device. I'm pretty sure this isn't the same band. We're on a Wi-Fi connection now. And now you can see the recently played tracks have changed to the ones I played recently. I've loaded up the browser on the device just so you can take a look at it. I mean, this magnificent display, everything looks really, really great. You can of course run it in landscape mode. Let's check for multi-touch zooming. Doesn't appear to be there. How about double tap zooming? Doesn't appear to have that. Just the on-screen controls. You can open up an additional window. Really annoying. By default, it automatically loads the Sony Ericsson homepage in every new window you open up, which is really stupid. Let's go through and I'll show you how the keyboard works while we're typing out. Pretty slow, considering there's a Snapdragon processor in here. This thing is not very responsive at all. Probably would speed up if we turned off some of the word prediction. So here is the mobile version of Mobile Burn. It scrolls very smoothly. Tap through. We're on a Wi-Fi connection, so also supports AT&T's 3G, but this is Wi-Fi, so it's working pretty quickly. See how quickly it renders too. Let's pull up the main site and just blazes up there on the screen. Not instantaneous, but pretty damn fast. Even the ads go through quickly. Very impressive. It's the most impressive thing on the device so far. Bookmark support. History and of course your most frequent things, and you can just tap on one of the stars to make it a bookmark. I'm going to bring up the camera application by long pressing the shutter button. Number of different focusing modes. You can see right now I've got a multi-point focus on. There's single point, forcing it to infinity, force it to macro, and also face detection. Just go back to the standard, which is single point focus. Press the shutter button a little bit and take the photo. Works quite nicely. 8 megapixel resolution. Have options for lower res. Different shooting modes. Smile detection. I'm going to switch over to the video camera. You can see our resolution options. That's what I'm talking about with it not being particularly responsive. So right now we're in wide VGA. You can also shoot VGA, QVGA, and lower resolutions, and also shoot directly for YouTube. Camera acts pretty freaky though. It's a little strange looking what it's doing. I'm going to guess it's some sort of image stabilization. So anyway, we're shooting the video. Let's stop it and see what it looks like. Tap on it here, tap again. It looks pretty freaky here too. I'm not sure what's going on there. When I shot in the regular wide VGA mode, looked quite nice, as you can see right now. This is another test video. See if this one looks any better. And we'll play this one. Nice and clear and sharp. Pull up the Gmail client. Looks just like any other device. Android Market Office Suites here for Office documents. YouTube client like we would expect. A couple of games. Here's Quadrupop. The Xperia X10 comes with decent Exchange support. This is the Moxier Mail client. It can also be used for contacts and calendar, things like that. I'm showing you one of the subfolders here just so nobody's email address gets seen. Go into the calendar. You can get an agenda view or week, monthly view as well. There's also a contacts application, but I can't show you that because it's filled with personal phone numbers. But no really need to use that except for managing just particular Exchange contacts, since the main device also shows contacts. So that's my quick look at the Sony Ericsson Xperia X10. Really exquisite piece of hardware, but I'm not real sold on the software. It seems a bit laggy at times considering it has a Snapdragon processor, and the touchscreen itself is not very responsive even though it's quite beautiful. So far, not really loving the device, finding it to be a little bit difficult to use, and I never have been sold on the Timescape and Mediascape ideas for going through and managing social networks, messaging, and media files. But to each his own. So if this looks interesting to you, it's definitely a beautiful piece of hardware. So again, that's the Sony Ericsson Xperia X10. I'm Michael Orrell for MobileBurn.com and AndroidAuthority.com.